Well, we're back here with my co-host, Bruce Jordan. Hello, Bruce.
Hello, hello. We are back rocking, and man, it just keeps getting better and better.
Doesn't it? Oh my gosh, a whirlwind of a day. And now representing Mexico, we have Michel Wohlmuth, the CEO and founding partner of that we just listened to is Creatividad. And he was really amazing and knows so much about his country.
Yeah, I was actually just in Mexico not too long ago, and I'm like, man, the culture that they have there, and just the amazing history that was there. We went to the Mayan pyramids, and I would have never again I guess how advanced the that civilization was. And, we just learned so much, and I feel like especially when it comes to the Mexican culture. I feel like that a lot of it isn't really presented. Something like that should definitely be in a nice history lesson in our history books for sure, because they were just able to adore some amazing things, and they just have a beautiful culture.
Yeah, they really do. And Michelle, he definitely is very proud of it. He's done a very good job of representing it in multiple ways. But he gave us a little bit of an insight to the pandemic, the situation in Mexico, which sounded, of course, very similar to what we've been going through here in the States. And yet he, when I asked him, what really affected him, he said, well, the opportunity to work closer with my team, getting to know my family. And he just overall thought, okay, this is a gift. This is something that was given to us. So he really is very optimistic about how he utilized his time, during these past, couple of years.
I think that was a lesson for us all, because we're so focused on working and grinding that sometimes we forget about what's most important, or what we're working and grinding for. So the fact that we're able to actually sit down and say, hey, you know what? I actually enjoy being home. I'm not at work 12 hours a day, and not dealing with the customers 12 hours a day. I can actually sit down and watch a whole movie with my family, instead of getting the last 15, 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Was there anything else special that he mentioned that gravitated to you in your learning?
I think the most important the MPI. I'm like, man, they have a lot of members, and you really don't see the results of what they do, and to someone like this comes in and talks about it. I mean, you've been an MPI member for quite some time. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah. I've been a 30-year member, believe it or not.
I
um,
don't believe it.
yes.
I need to see the
Gosh, I must
card.
have been two, right? But being a meeting professional and a hoteler, now a speaker for especially the industry, they call me the triple threat at this point. But I've very much enjoyed MPI. I've been on, the board, been the president of the Arizona chapter, the international board as a guest, and been through all the committees, and it's a wonderful organization. And Michel, he definitely, being on the board with, internationally wise, representing Mexico, I'm sure he learns a lot and brings a lot back to, Mexico City, where he's from. And that's what MPI does. And we were talking about, what they're doing in Mexico as far as expanding, MPI, Meeting Professionals International. And certainly they're working on that and making it more well known in the industry there. And he's definitely involved with the Latin community and does a great job.
Yeah. What are some of the benefits that you've enjoyed being a member for so long?
For MPI, oh
Mhm.
gosh, the relationships, of course, are hands down. Relationships galore. Meeting somebody like Michelle at the same time, and having that connection that everybody knows each other, and then of course, when you get the opportunity to go virtual or in person, it's like like, Brian Stevens said earlier, it's like a family reunion. But the education, the networking that happens among us, knowing the ins and outs of what everybody needs as far as their company or organization, getting to know what their needs are. And if I'm not able to help them, I know somebody that does. But the organization overall hands out a lot of educational seminars, webinars, just really keeps you connected with what is going on in the industry. How are things going on in the industry? Who, you need to connect with. It's a shoe-in to belong to, not only MPI, but PCMA, SGMP, which we're going to have Garland Preddy here on the show a little later today. So those things are really important. Anyone that's not connected, they need to be. It's just the best way to learn and grow within your own career.
One of the things that he touched on that which a couple other people also spoke about was creating new products. They had new products that they didn't even know they had.
Yes, isn't that crazy?
that is crazy.
Who would know? Yeah, just being open-minded, to whatever is coming your way, I think is what he in particular learned. We all should learn from, and to develop, a new product. My gosh, how cool is that?
Man, listen, the pandemic, it wasn't fun, but it was definitely a gift. Like you said, it was definitely a gift.
Yeah, I have to agree with him. And he also talked about the other destinations through Mexico. That was the advantage of talking to him, because he was able to know that, what's going on in the other cities, the other communities, and to report to us the unity that they all have in Mexico, and that they are ready to accept any meeting or event. He, wants to promote Mexico, and let's not pay attention to the drawbacks that are out there, because honestly, it's not true. I love Mexico. I love the Mexican people and their culture and custom. So I believe that Michel is telling us, hey, bring your meetings and events to Mexico.
Yeah, and listen, it's definitely a winner in my book. When I was there, it was jamming. Like, it was
I believe
jamming.
it.
They were getting down.
I
We went
believe it.
through
And they're
malls,
so
through beaches.
hospitable. They're
Yes,
so hospitable. I
yes.
mean, they know that you're an American, or from another country. They just embrace you and want to introduce you. So you got to be careful, because you could be overwhelmed by their hospitable, personality and culture. It's a lot of fun. I really learn every time I go to Mexico. Enjoy everything about Mexico, especially those margaritas. Probably a little too much, but it was such a delight having him on the show, because he definitely painted that picture, gave us that vision, that Mexico's doors are open, ready for business.
And they're really ready for business, because that food over there, I was ready to take a couple of plates home with me on the airplane.
I bet. Are you going back at all anytime soon?
I think I want to go back towards the end of next year for sure, because I just had such a good time while I was there, and then that the ocean and the water is so blue and gorgeous and tropical. Like, it's breathtaking.
I know you are on the East Coast, whereas I'm on the West Coast, so it's only a hop, skip, and a drive for me. But for you, definitely a longer flight. How long does it take you get there flying there?
It was only a couple of hours, surprisingly. It wasn't that long. So, we jumped on a plane, and next thing we know, I woke up and we're there. So.
Yeah. And enjoying yourself. Well, again, it was such a wonderful conversation with him. I know I've got tons more here coming up. It's going to be a great day, and boy, it's. I really commend Michel and everybody in Mexico to keep their spirits up during this time of recovery, and time to tackle any other new challenges that they might be facing. But I think that the good news is, Mexico is open. So all those viewers that are watching right now, definitely get in touch with Michel, and we gave that information on him, and he'd be happy to take your calls. So we might have to call him as well, Bruce.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, if you were planning the event in Mexico right now, like what are some of the things that you would do?
Oh my gosh. Definitely a lot more tours. I've always wanted to ride a horse on the beach. I would
Smart.
love to do that.
Smart.
That would be my next bucket list for Mexico. I would love to do that. What about you?
I think I want to ride a horse on the beach as well. I just got to
Yeah.
really get my drone up in the air because I want to record this. Like,
Well, I grew up riding horses and love that. But every time I go to Mexico, I never have that time to do that. So I'm hoping to make sure and check that off my to-do list next time I go to Mexico. But and plus to stay longer. Sometimes we go down there just for business. It's like, wait a minute, we should be tacking on some fun days afterward at the same time.
And we should be getting reimbursed for those days as well.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm my own boss, so I don't know who I would be reimbursing, but yeah, it would definitely be nice. And you being in the hotel management side of things, I would imagine doing business in hotels down there would be a plus for you.
It's so amazing to when you're down there and you meet the staff and you meet housekeeping and you meet the general manager. The things that they have to go through on a daily basis, your hat just goes off to them, because like over here, if someone throws a party, you may have a one or two rowdy guests. Over there, you got a whole rowdy event.
Yeah, you
Going
really
on.
do.
So they have to deal with a lot. So every time I go over there and I meet the staff, I just gotta give them the respect that they do, because
Yeah.
it gets a little difficult at times.
Yeah,
Being
yeah,
over there.
it does. It does. Well, we're glad that Michel was able to join us. He's such a delightful man, brilliant, and such a great ambassador to the country of Mexico. And he really put some light into what we are dealing with here as opposed to there, which pretty similar, So we'll definitely keep in touch with him and see how things are going over there, unless we see him in an in-person conference. So beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, well, up next, we are going to talk with Dr. Lori Tuma, who is a professor at Grand Valley State University. I'm so glad we have the doctor in the house because this really puts some light on the future of our industry. And I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about my conversation with her next here on Hospitality Today Live. And we want to at least acknowledge our official title sponsor, Efficient Health Solutions.